Good morning, Charlie Pierce.
Morning, Jody Hamilton.
All right. God, I just think it can never get weirder. And you were wearing a giant mook button on your
Yes.
I am. You know why? Because it's
Throat.
Francis's
It's
Francis's birthday.
Francis's
today.
Right.
I know.
I know, and I
Happy
wanted to
birthday.
send out, vibes to my fellow mooks.
There you go. And by the
And
way,
thanks to Rocky Mountain Mike for tweeting that out because I wouldn't have known.
you said it best on Twitter. You said the tree of liberty is drunk. Thank you. We've woken up together in a lot of horrible days in America, Charlie, but this is right.
I've been doing the blog now for it'll be 11 years in October. I don't have anything more to write about mass shootings.
Yeah.
This one's got this kind of ideological overtone, so that gives me kind of a new thing to write about.
Yeah.
But there aren't many issues on which I completely despair.
Yeah.
I despair on gun violence. We don't want to do anything about it.
Ed, what you do write about, Charlie, is the mix of not just gun violence, but racism in this moment we find ourselves in. You just wrote our out-of-control political moment has been joined to our insane attraction to firearms, Milwaukee, Laguna Hills, Buffalo, American life in 2022. And you said, don't be alarmed. I suspect the tree of liberty is dangerously close to being overly refreshed, not with the blood of patriots and tyrants either, but rather with the blood of ordinary folks celebrating a basketball game or going to church on a Sunday, or some just stopping to pick up last-minute provisions for a Sunday dinner, ordinary people living ordinary lives until they weren't anymore. And you heard me talk, Charlie. It's going to be all of us at some point, but that's my hometown. That's my supermarket.
Yeah.
That's my Tops,
And for me, I spent a lot of time in the area of Milwaukee where the shots were fired.
Yeah.
Just outside the basketball arena. So that really hit me hard when I read about that. And then, then Buffalo happened. And then the church in Laguna Beach happened. It's all within 24 hours. This is crazy.
Yeah. You said decades of making sure Americans are armed to the teeth, decades of making sure it was easy to set one subset of citizens against another have now combined to make a madhouse of the world's oldest representative democracy, 3 mass shootings in 3 days. The only country, right, where one shooting knocks the other one out of the headlines.
If you don't count the ones that are having a civil war, yeah.
Right.
I don't think, we're not Syria yet is, much of a recommendation for our ability to govern ourselves.
Yeah. And thank you for, by the way, this is why we have the Say Her Name campaign. You just said say her name. This is Ruth Elizabeth Whitfield, an 86-year-old black grandmother killed in yesterday's mass shooting in Buffalo. She was her husband's primary caretaker, was coming back from visiting him in a nursing home. You said say her name. Pearlie Young, 77, was killed. For 25 years, she ran a pantry where every Saturday she fed people in Central Park, Buffalo, every Saturday. It's... Charlie, I don't even know what to say anymore in terms of, we keep saying, thank God, Chuck Schumer and others who I just played are calling it out. It is American party. It is one American network. This is not accidental anymore.
As I said, this has, this kind of ideological thing shot through it. And that makes it different. But it's still too damn many guns.
Yeah.
There are too damn many guns around. And we know what works because we had a ban on these weapons and it worked until George Bush rescinded it.
Yeah.
That thing worked. It didn't work perfectly. It didn't work maybe even as well as I wished it would. But it did work. It did cut down on this stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, they always accuse us, as Tucker Carlson did, we played that last hour, us politicizing this. This guy's running for governor, Thom. He tweeted in Buffalo right now, Kathy Hochul's hometown, Hochul refuses to make fighting crime a priority. I will. And you just said campaigning immediately after a bloodbath. This guy belongs in a zoo. It's... I don't even know how else to say it anymore. They just, Megyn Kelly said, can we grieve for 2 minutes before you go after Tucker? It's like, no, you don't grieve. You don't ever grieve about these kind of things.
That's true. And the answer to her question, by the way, is no. Right. No. No. There's no reason to give him even 5 seconds of breathing space after this event. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't believe in what he's doing, by the way, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's stirring up. He's not stupid. He was once a pretty good journalist, but I thought Margaret Sullivan had a great column today. Because in the Washington Post, Margaret's from Buffalo, and she wrote about the Murdochs.
Yeah.
It sooner or later, you have to work your way up the supply chain to the dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, from Buffalo, I mentioned yesterday, Charlie, I subsisted on mostly corn from Top's Friendly Markets. That's all I could afford was the popcorn from the deli section and then corn muffins. When I lived above the pizza parlor on
Right.
Hurdle Avenue and I answered the phone at Yuck Yucks. That was
With the
my
community bathroom.
Yes. No, the first place was a community bathroom. The second place was fancy. It was heated by the pizza oven underneath the.
Oh, you must have gotten a raise at the Yuck
No,
Yucks.
I never made more than minimum wage. Which is why I've subsisted on corn from Top's Markets in Buffalo.
and not corn on the cob either, right?
No, just popcorn. Okay. So by the way,
Dinny Moore beef stew was mine in my poverty-stricken.
There you go.
we all had our poverty food.
Heated it up, throw it in a couple of minutes, go right-
Ramen and mac
What?
and cheese. Ramen and mac and cheese. Yep.
Sometimes
mac and cheese was
the
much
grocery
more
store would have 10 for $1 with
Yeah.
the ramen.
Yeah,
And
ramen.
like, yes.
And
perfect.
sometimes I felt guilty because I would only eat the muffin tops.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was
Well.
I was kind of up a creek because I don't really like soup that much,
Yeah.
and you
So
can't
soup
eat
kitchens were-
you can't eat hands full of ramen like in the
That's
Cheerios.
true.
And someone suggested a mac and cheese, and I'm like, that's expensive because you got to have the butter, you got to have the milk, you got to
Right.
have all the
Ingredients.
other stuff. Yeah.
You have to
Just
mix
water.
stuff up,
Right.
I mean,
That's what roommates are for.
Dinny Moore, you throw it in the stew pot on the stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a couple of slices of Wonder Bread. Mm-hmm. There's dinner.
You got a meal. That's right.
Yeah.
That's good eating. Charlie, we've been drawing a line between this and January 6th, which was also a violent right-wing domestic terrorism, a largely white supremacist movement on January 6th. And you wrote a piece. There's kicking a hornet's nest, and then there's what the January 6th committee did on Thursday. You're talking about the subpoenas. You made an interesting point, though. You said, well, first of all, you said the most important avenue investigation, namely that's determined to find a precise outline of the inner parts of the attempted coup. That's why you didn't see subpoenas for Lauren Boebert, Madison Cawthorn, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, which we asked about that. Or many of the other noisemakers our fellow citizens have inflicted on us all. Those folks have a big media presence, and more than a few people would like to see them rotating slowly on a spit in front of the nation. But in terms of an actual threat to the 2020 election, the actual threat to the constitutional order, the likes of them are merely cheerleaders. The 5 members who were subpoenaed could have direct material evidence relating to the committee's primary purpose. They were in touch with the operational end of the strategy before, during, and after the smoke cleared on Capitol Hill. Because I wondered that, and now I'm wondering, though, they're indicating there may be more, so maybe they are going to be included.
I mean, it's possible that they have something on particularly Boebert and Green,
Yeah.
Right.
who have, there's always been rumors about those two.
Right.
Boebert tweeting out Nancy Pelosi's location and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's entirely possible they may haul those people in. But what impressed me about that burst of subpoenas at the end of last week was, in this case, these subpoenas are accusations. Mm-hmm. They are saying Kevin McCarthy was in the middle of this, and that they can prove it.
Yeah.
And they can prove it in front of the whole country. Then, of course, I start despairing again, because then it becomes up to the country to do something about it. And
Yeah.
I'm not,
At least the voters in
entirely-
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresno now too.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, Charlie, it's happy primary day. Who the heck knows what's going to happen in Pennsylvania or whatever? I mean,
Pennsylvania could elect an entire statewide Republican ticket of freaking lunatics.
Yeah.
yeah.
I came really close to doing the FCC.
Yeah, thank you.
in
Thank
I
Vegas
wouldn't
there.
be surprised.
Very, very close.
I wouldn't.
I mean, Mastriano,
Right.
and the woman who's this
Barnett.
crazy woman who's coming up on the inside.
They are
like
insurrectionists.
Rich
They were
Wright.
there on January 6th.
Right, and Sean Hannity is being upset that she might win because she was there on January 6th, and how dare she screw up the plans? How dare she screw up the coup we had planned?
Yeah.
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 It's insane. It's crazy.
It is insane.
They're going to do it.
Right. And so a staffer with Doug Mastriano's gubernatorial campaign who helped block media access to the Crazy Town event with him and Kathy Barnett, the other Crazy Town, this weekend, was at the U.S. Capitol, where he appeared to smile and laugh as rioters smashed media equipment in the Capitol. Trump has endorsed Rano, of course, a far-right state senator who supported his efforts to overturn the election and himself was at the... So these are actual insurrectionists. And now Kathy Barnett, we find out, also was there at January 6th. I mean... And we were saying, is Donald Trump going to, like, midday today unendorse Dr. Oz? Because Dr. Oz refused to say the election was stolen yesterday. I'm like, oh, my God.
He's going to wait for Dr. Oz to lose, and then he's going to bury him.
Yeah.
That's I mean, if I had to guess.
Yeah, talk about him going, Kathy Barnett won't win, but if she does, she's going to be fantastic, and I welcome. Right? Like, that statement was,
Dr. Oz, he'll make up a phone call he had with Dr. Oz a month ago.
Right.
And, make up this wild story about how he gave Dr. Oz all this great advice that Dr. Oz didn't take.
Right.
And that's why he lost.
Yeah. Well, he flirted with, I mean, they don't know what the hell they're doing.
No.
He's a doctor. He's on record as saying it's not even vaguely a heartbeat at 6 weeks
It's
old.
not. There's no heart.
He's, there's another clip that just him talking about doing trans surgery. Like, the fact that somehow they were going to try to pass him off as MAGA in the first place is hilarious. And
he's not from Pennsylvania.
Yes, and he's talking about the price of crudité, and he's friends with Oprah. so
and
now
he's not talking about crudité oil either. He's talking about actual crudités.
So, but yesterday he's flirting
which
with
the rest of us call vegetables.
Yeah, exactly.
But they want to have it all ways. Like yesterday, he's flirting with the big lie, but won't say it out now that it was stolen. I mean, they don't know what to do at this point, right? And what on the Democratic side, we were saying, I don't know. Fetterman says he's making a full recovery, but how do you think that's going to affect?
Well, I don't know. All I know is 2 Democratic politicians had strokes over the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that was also a very strange news cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, either one of those guys I can live with. I'd probably vote for Fetterman if I was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But given the choice, I mean, no matter who comes out of the Republican side, is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Ay. By the way, I just like it when you call Tom Cotton a bobble-throated slap. Because he is a bobble-throated slap D.
I'm telling you, he
has a book.
Telling you, first time I ever saw him, which was when he was first year in the Senate.
He's like he has a ping pong ball stuck in there.
I'm telling you, he's got a bigger one than Ann Coulter. I didn't think that was
Hey, Charlie Louise, now you're going to have to get out, and you're going to spend time in the penalty.
No.
Yeah,
please.
you know what?
No.
Lady Bing Award, and you're going to be in the penalty box for the rest of the show.
Well, I'd never win the Lady Bing. You know that.
Yes, in the penalty box, immediately. Goodbye, Charlie.
Is the penalty box still flooded, by the way?
It's flooded with Glenn Kirshner goodness. Okay.
Oh, God.
Run for your life, Charlie.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh, man, I can't move my shoes. They're stuck to the floor.
Don't slip in the wet spot.
Run.
God.
Bye.
Run like the wind.